Magnifique. Hopefully you've learned a little bit about yes/no questions. Next part we're going to learn is how do I make some questions that are going to ask for more information. For example, when do you go to the movie theater, or how often do you swim? Something like that. All right, so the first thing we need to learn are the question words. In English, we call them the 5 W's usually, like who, what, where, when, why. A lot of question words in French start with Q. Starting with qui. All right, it's pronounced qui, like you unlock the door. Qui is who. There's a lot of different question words that come along with who. We've got à qui, to whom, de qui, about whom, avec qui, with whom, pour qui, hee hee, this one makes me laugh, with, for whom. All right, so those are our who words. All right, so we got who. Next up, we got qu'est-ce que, for what. Looks a lot like esca. Notice how the esca is built into qu'est-ce que. Gotta listen carefully to hear the difference. Où is where, and yes, you need that accent. Without it, you're actually just saying or instead of where. You don't hear the difference, but you see it. Quand. Quand means when. À quelle heure, at what time. Pourquoi, for why. Literally for what reason. Pourquoi. Comment is how. We've been using this so much. Comment ça va? How are you? Comment t'appelles-tu literally means how do you call yourself? And combien. How many? All right, so combien means how many. Kind of looks like combine. Like if I were to combine these things, how many would I have? All right, well, how do I use them? So there's a formula. All right, you put your question word first, then you put esca, and then you do the rest of your sentence. So he plays basketball. Il joue au basket. Quand est-ce qu'il joue au basket? When does he play basketball? And that's it. So let's look. How would I say, with whom do you play basketball? We would start avec qui, then we do esca, tu joues au basket. How do you swim? Do you swim poorly, quickly, slowly? Well, comment est-ce qu'il nage? And again, there's that vowel. So we need to drop the E and do our apostrophe. Vous dansez. You dance. When do you dance? All the time? In the shower? Why not? Quand est-ce que vous dansez? When do you dance? All right, let's try it out. If the answer to the question is we live in France, the question that was asked is, where do you live? If the answer is I study with my friend Charles, the question is, avec qui? With whom do you study? She is organizing a party for Friday night. Blank, is she organizing the party? When? So we need quand. So you gotta work backwards a little bit. Here's a couple more. They dance well, just like Madame. How do the girls dance? Comment est-ce que les filles dansent? Because French is cool. What did we ask? We asked, pourquoi est-ce que tu parles français? So notice they all had the same formula. Question, word, and then esca and subject and verb. Okay, for all my esca haters out there, no, you don't have to use esca if you don't want to. All right, what you do is put the question word first, just like we've been doing. Don't use esca and flip-flop the subject and the verb. So you play soccer. All right, if we want to know where, start with that where, où, flip-flop your subject and verb. Où jouez-vous? That's fun. Where do you play soccer? Où jouez-vous au foot? All right, what would these look like? When do you do your homework? Quand fais-tu les devoirs? All right, when do you do your homework? With whom are you going to the park? Avec qui allez-vous au parc? Where does she play soccer? Où joue-t-elle? There's that fun extra T sound. So notice there's no esca because I inverted, but I was still able to use a question word to get more information than just yes or no. All right, rock stars, last piece. Okay, I know interrogative adjectives looks like a big word that who cares what it means, but it's simple. Interrogative means they ask questions. Adjectives describe. So, extra step in French. We're going to have to change the spelling to make sure that we're matching how many people or how many things we're talking about and the gender. So I'll show you what it looks like. First of all, the word for which or what is quel. What's fun is that when you're speaking it, they all sound the same. Quel, 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 quel. All right. How are we going to use it? How do I get this out of the way? Boo. How we're going to use it is always with something else. Quel livre est-ce que tu préfères? Or if you don't want to use est-ce que, quel livre préfères-tu? Which book do you prefer? So if you can replace what in the sentence with which, then quel is your word. Quel is the question word that you want. It's always going to go before the noun it describes. Quel sport? All right, so which sport, what sport do you prefer? And sometimes it'll stand by itself before être. Quel est, what is, or which is your favorite subject, school subject. Okay? So, that's all there is to know about quel. Here's a couple examples. So, quel livre, which book? I needed the spelling here because livre is masculine. Which woman were you talking to? Quel, spelled like that because it's feminine. Quelle fille, which girls are the ones that sing really well? All right. Quel crayon, which pencils do you want to use? That's masculine and plural. Quelle salade, salade is feminine. Which salads do you like? What American? This is the masculine, so that's why that's quel. All right. That's it. So those are our interrogative words and our interrogative adjectives. Amusez-vous bien. Ciao.